Is why I believe you should train to failure is because psychologically we could be holding ourselves back. Let's say like I know what is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're taking a look at a video from Jeff Nippard. He just posted this short not too long ago, and it's talking about overtraining and stuff. And I know there's this kind of hot debate going around in the science versus bro science community or whatever. It's, do you actually need to train to failure, this and that, you know, because the science guys are always like, oh, if you train to failure and this, you know, you're gonna go overtrain and blah 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 blah, and both sides are going back and forth. So I thought I'd react to his video and then kind of bring in the topic of training to failure as well, because I think that is one of the arguments that more of the science-based lifters use to say, oh, that's why you shouldn't train to failure, because it, you know, brings on all this fatigue, so you're gonna overtrain and this and that. So let's just watch it.
How hard would you need to work out to actually overtrain? Let's break it down. If you do too little in the gym, you won't grow. That's called undertraining. Do a bit more and you'll maintain. A bit more than that and you're in the sweet spot for gains. Keep pushing from there and you'll hit functional overreaching, where performance drops for a few days, then rebounds above baseline once you recover. That's actually good, and sometimes I purposefully try to functionally overreach. But if you keep pushing more, you'll eventually hit true overtraining.
All right, so he's kind of divided it up into these different sections of where you're not doing enough, and you know, then you're, you know, effective training, overreaching, and overtraining. So for the majority of people when they go to the gym, they are not training hard enough. They train hard enough to get themselves out of the newbie phase of lifting, but you know, they know, you know, they have the so-called lifetime intermediate, and that's where people, you know, they just hit this plateau and they stop building muscle and gaining strength from there because they're not pushing themselves that hard. So they can get out of that newbie phase, but they can't go into that, and they get right in the intermediate phase, but they can't level up from there because they're not training hard enough. So they're under training basically, and that's where the majority of people stand. And that's why I, anyway, am a firm believer in training to failure, or taking some of your sets to failure anyway, so you really know how hard you're training. But let's continue watching and see what, you know, this overtraining is.
Where your performance tanks for weeks or months, and even once you recover, no extra gains. But here's the thing, true overtraining is insanely hard to hit. One study had lifters do 25 sets every workout on heavy compound lifts 4 days a week, and they were all, ready for this, 3 to 5 rep maxes. They did that for 2 weeks. You'd expect them to burn out, but they didn't overtrain. Their strength actually went up. The only study I'm aware of that caused true overtraining should be in the Geneva Convention. They made people do 10 sets of 1 rep max squats 6 days a week, and they did that for 2 weeks. It absolutely wrecked them. Most people took at least a month or two just to recover and get back to baseline. So unless you're training like that, and you're not, you're probably fine. Push yourself hard, recover harder, and you'll grow.
So apparently, to reach true overtraining, you gotta do a lot. And I mean, holy shit. I mean, okay, not be getting back to baseline 2 to 3 months, that is just ridiculous. That is way overdoing it, in my opinion. Personally, what I believe it tells me that you're training too hard is if you go, let's say you do a chest day and you get sore. If you're still sore from that chest day going in to your next workout, for chest anyway, you're overdoing it. You're doing way too much, because then you're not properly recovering. And also, if you notice that, you know, your lifts are going down and stuff, not a great look. Definitely considered overtraining. But apparently, according to Jeff anyway, super hard to reach true overtraining. Now, I would also say overreaching probably isn't great either. Like, you don't really want to go. Obviously, there are going to be some workouts that people have anyway where they're just not going to be as strong, so their lifts are going to be a little bit down. I actually kind of had one today. I was doing legs. I only got 7 reps on the pendulum squat on this certain weight. Normally I did 8 or 9, but hey, it's okay because next exercise, your boy hit a PR on his RDLs, so I guess it makes up for it. And you know, I feel like the whole reason anyway why I believe you should take a set or two to failure, or even for me, I go all out all the freaking time and I recover from it. So you can't use the argument, oh my god, you're gonna overtrain, because I recover from my workouts and I'm not sore going into my next workout for that muscle group. So I just did a set of I trained quads today. When I go train legs again, my quads will be fully recovered. They won't be sore. So you can't use that argument against me for taking all my sets to failure. Now you could argue that, okay, the research shows that going to failure isn't any beneficial for muscle growth. But here's the thing. It tells us to leave 3 to like 1 reps in reserve, right? But psychologically, we could be holding, this is why I believe you should train to failure, is because psychologically we could be holding ourselves back. Let's say, I know Greg Doucette anyway, he says, if you're going to take a set to failure, say to yourself, for $1,000, could you have done another rep?
So here's my advice, unless you're a beginner, train with 0 to 1 RIR. Train to failure. Train to the point where you're thinking, I could probably do 1 more rep, maybe, probably not sure. And if you are training that hard, you will probably be within 3 RIR.
For $1,000. And most people, if they actually do that, they're doing 5 more reps. Now, for me, I already train very hard, so I'm not doing 5 more reps, but maybe psychologically. Let's say someone put a gun to my head and said, if you don't do another one, I'm gonna pull the trigger. I probably could do another rep. So psychologically, even if we're going to failure, we could be leaving something in the tank. So there's your 1 rep in the tank. Because if you go to, Mike Israetel describes this anyway, this is his words, not mine. Psychologically, you can be leaving reps in the tank. If you go to violence and war levels, you may have like 3 more reps. You never know.
The biggest factor to force production once you have a muscle of a certain cross-sectional area is how much nervous system throughput you're having. And because your degree of arousal currently is decent, but not like violence and war level, if you went to violence and war level places, you could have 5 or 6 reps more.
Disagree.
But it would be like a hugely fatiguing thing.
So I think we should be training to failure if you are an intermediate or advanced lifter. Again, if you're a beginner, you know, you can leave some reps in the tank. You're still going to make gains. But many people fall into that category of that maintaining on Jeff's list. There are people, they train hard, and not hard enough to maintain their gains, but not build beyond that intermediate phase. So guys, definitely if you're an intermediate like me, I would recommend taking at least 1 set to failure to know where you are and where you're, you know, to make sure you're actually pushing yourself, so you know where your strength is, so you know how many reps to leave in the tank and this and that. So that's what I think. I mean, I don't think anyone in the real world is reaching that level of failure or overtraining that Jeff Nipper described in that video. I think that's ridiculous. As long as you're going into your next workouts not feeling sore, I think you're doing fine, and as long as your lifts are slowly progressing. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you have enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button. Let me know what side you're on. Are you on the side of training to failure or leaving 3 reps in the tank on every set? Let me know in the comments down below, but I will see you in the next one. Peace.